Beep. Grand whatever plebeians, party people, and they mamas. Welcome to another episode of Poetry on the Patio with Pleiades. We've got 30 minutes on the clock. We are here at the beautiful Nuestra Casa Cafe, just a couple seconds away from the Kokoroho that I have told you guys about. That's where I think I did my last episode. Excuse me for my stutter. I am autistic. I have this iced latte. Vanilla iced latte. That is so good. Oh my god. I can't even. The clockina, we know about the clockina, grand whatever. I said the plebeians, mamas, party people, they, thems, all of that. This is episode 59 of the podcast, and the episode is titled My Love. I keep wanting to mess with the camera, but I'm sure the angle is fine. Again, I don't know how long I will be sharing on this project, but we have this sweet bread. This was crazy. They gave me a free sweet bread for some reason. I'm not sponsored. I should be. Damn, that's good. Damn, that's really good. I was looking at all their breads and I was like, I want something, but I have work to do. I can't be eating and recording my podcast. But I guess I can, right? That is really good. Damn. They must love me or something, because why is that free? But anyway, so, oh man, now I'm all sticky. My bad, my fault, my own problem. Y'all don't care about that. What do y'all care about? Y'all care about my art? Y'all care about my podcast? Y'all care about my project? So that's why y'all are here. Again, we have episode 59. This is gonna be posted on July 20th. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's July 17th. I feel like I'm lacking on the consistency, but you guys will see this posted on the noon timing that we've been consistently posting at, which is good. That's great. Also, because I've been more courageous and going out in the world with my podcast, I definitely feel more people have been comfortable with the idea of a podcast. Maybe not everyone, but you're just talking on a camera. I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, to be an influencer or a content creator, this low-key is a humiliation ritual, but, I feel like you guys are seeing a more and more gorgeous, beautiful background every single time, and just wait till what I have to show you guys, what I have in store. Again, I'm grateful to be on this patio and to have a space to work and record for the day. There's a lot of hustle and bustle of energy here, and I do appreciate that. I think right down this block, just a couple stores away, we have a Wingstop. I'm again not sponsored, and I shouldn't even be talking about all these different restaurants. This is my project, right? But anyway, maybe I shouldn't be saying this. I don't know who they support, but my cop-out meal these last couple of weeks has been Wingstop. I'm not gonna lie. It's just I've been really depressed and disabled, and I can't really make food for myself every single day. I've got metal in my arm, and my mental illness has been taking its toll. But again, that's a different conversation. We're talking about my love today. We will get into mental illness one day on this podcast. I'll go into it deeper, but first I have to go into it deeper with my own therapist, to be honest. I have been working to try to get consistent therapy for 2 decades now, almost 3 decades. We are halfway past my 20s. I am in my late 20s. I'm going to turn 26 in about a month. That's insane to me. I'm closer to 30 than I was 5 years ago for sure. This is the closest I've been to 30 in my life, and every day I get closer, and one day I will be 30, and so will everyone. God bless us if we are allowed to, not everyone believes that, but believes that we will if we're blessed, but that's just my opinion, I guess, and my take on it. wouldn't it be nice to have that gift of like time with the people that we love, with our loved ones? Anyway, so that's, I guess, a good segue into the topic of my love. So to start, I have a Leo Venus. I don't know if you guys can see the clockina on this, but I don't think that matters. I think what matters is the conversation, right? Like, you guys will see the timing on the timer on your little YouTube. But yeah, Leo Venus, what does this mean for me? I think it means a lot of things, and I'm grateful that I have the chance to speak on this right now. I think once I get into the topics, like, I start feeling a lot more comfortable in a public space, because it's like, okay, well, there's actual things that I have to talk about and that I'd like to talk about, right? Like, last week we talked about favorites, and this week we're talking about my love, because, like, including favorites, you have love, right? Like, there's a reason that those things are your favorites. And it's like, you don't always get your favorites every single time, because then your favorites would not be your favorite anymore. But also, maybe you do get your favorites every single time, right? Because then your love increases, or your idea of the world expands, and you're like, wow, like, you're allowed to have positivity all the time. And that's true. So Leo Venus, that's like astrological, right? Which not everyone cares about or considers when it comes to love. But Venus is your planet of love, and, you know, I feel like I've been a lot of, like, far removed from the conversation of astrology for a couple of years now. That's my bad. You know, I've been in Vedic astrology, and also I've participated in Western astrology, where, like, you know, everyone falls under, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because, like, you go on Google and it'll spit the information that it spits out to everyone, right? Like, you don't always have a unique Google, but also sometimes you have an extremely unique Google, right? Where, like, you look up something and you see this very hyper-specific, detailed information just for you, and, like, everyone else gets that hyper-specific information that their, like, subconscious has been, like, going towards or whatnot. But anyway, like, oftentimes you look up things on Google, and, like, for astrology, you see all of the Western astrology. You don't see anything about, like, Mesopotamia, or, like, the Indus Valley River days, or, you know, back in India, and even in Mexico back in, I can't think of the names for some reason. I guess Aztecs, right? Like, the calendars that they had created, the Mayans, right? That they had used astrology for, right? Where we see the sun and we see stars. And so, with understanding the time and the change, with all of these gravitational pools, with all of these different planets, all of these different societies, like, again, with the Indus River Valley, the Mesopotamia, the indigenous, the natives, everyone that's included in this conversation, like, the science that goes behind it over time with humans has allowed it to deepen what it means for humans, right? Like, as we perceive it, as we create a science behind it, it means more, and it does more for us. Like we say, yeah, like, we see these stars and they have these shapes, but they start falling under, like, maybe a status quo or, like, a stereotype, and those, like, build an ideology, but that does not mean that, like, you have to fall under that explicitly. Like, that's the only realm or reality that you can have, right? So yeah, when it comes to Leo Venus, like, you know, I think a majority of us, like, understand what it means to be, like, a Leo. Like, you know, sometimes you have, like, an ungrounded Leo or, like, a grounded Leo, but also, like, you have ungrounded and grounded of other signs, right? Like Scorpio, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, all of it. But with Leo specifically, people, like, consider them loyal or generous at times. Not always, but again, people have some positive aspects and negative aspects. Like, that's just circumstances. But I would like to perceive my Leo Venus as a more positive experience, and I'd like to say that it has allowed me to be more loyal and more grounded and generous and courageous. You know, like, again, Leo is the lion, so maybe I'm not always those things or brave, but I think with, like, the Leo Venus, that it does allow me to feel those things in love. and in relationships and like friendships, right? Like not just like romantic love, but also like familial love and friendship love. And yeah, again, like I do think that like it changes over time because of our gravitational connection to the Venus planet. But ultimately, like, you know, where you're born, it's a snapshot, and you have your birth chart. If you guys don't know anything about astrology, then like this may just sound like a bunch of hoopla to you, but like I'm trying to make it like common knowledge, and I'm trying to give it like some sort of common sense, like ideology that I can just hand to you, almost like on a platter, like a charcuterie board, because it's like we are in Leo season also. I think like once we reach July 20th, or maybe it's like a little bit later, maybe like July 23rd, we're about to enter Leo season. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about, because I actually have a Leo stellium. And if you don't know what a stellium is, it is basically where you have 3 of the same signs in your birth chart. Because I don't know if you guys know this, you are not just your biggest zodiac sign, you are all of the houses and where your planets fall under these houses. And again, like the year you're born matters a lot, because that like puts you in a generation, and everyone in this generation will have like the same Uranus and like Neptune as you. But other than that, like, you know, your Mercury, your sun sign, your moon sign will transform depending on the time. And so when it comes to Leo season, like I am a Leo sun also. That's why Leo season's especially important to me. But also my Leo Venus and my Leo Mercury comes into play during this time as well. Like I think I feel excessively Leo during this time. And we're not really talking about astrology here, we're talking about love, right? So like I think that my Leo Venus contributes to... Sorry, there's like some ravens here. These are not grackles, or maybe they're crows, but they're like coming up to me, and I kind of do want to be their friend. Hello? Maybe they are grackles. Anyway, but my Vedic astrology has Leo Sun, Leo Mercury, and Leo Venus. Actually, both my Vedic and Western astrology have Leo in those big 3, and I think like Vedic and Western astrology have like a lot of overlap. Like astrology in general has overlap, but the difference is like in the Western astrology, unfortunately, while they're using the like correct like information from like the Aztecs and the Indians and so on and so forth, like they are unfortunately behind in the way that they did not continue to look at the changes of the stars. And I'm not sure if like I'm 100% accurate on this information. I just know that like it's about 2 weeks apart, if not more or less. But those 2 weeks matter, right? Like I think also they've added like a 13th zodiac sign. Anyway, that's not about love at all, like what we're talking about, and I just spent 15 minutes on astrology, but I guess that's like giving you the context. And I like giving the context when it comes to storytelling, even if it's like that context was like 45 minutes long and now here's just like 5 seconds of an important context. Anyway, Vedic astrology, Leo season, Leo Venus, Leo Mercury. Mercury, you know, you understand, is like the knowledge and that the power inside of you, and also like the sun is also the power inside of you, but it's also like what your light is visualized as, like how people see you. There's also the rising, which is like what the sun looks like when it's just first coming over the horizon. So there's also like the what people see you as, what you perceive yourself as, and what people see you as is like what you could imagine other people perceiving you as. I don't know if that makes sense, but like again, we could get deeper into it. It makes sense when it makes sense. So we're talking about the past, the present, and the future. Mashallah, inshallah. We're talking about my childhood. We're talking about my current moments where we're recording this podcast right now at Nuestra Casa. This bakery who gave me this free bread, which again, let me just take a bite out of this. Like, bro, is everyone getting free bread out here? I don't know about that. That's really kind. That's really sweet of them. Now, I should not be chewing and talking at the same time, but it's my podcast. I'm allowed to do what I want. Okay. I've had a lot of relationships. maybe I'm not the best person to take advice from because of the same thing that I just explained. I've had a lot of relationships and I'm 26. Or maybe that's a good reason to listen to me because I've had a lot of relationships, so I've had experience in things that like could be perceived as good or perceived as bad, and both dualities matter. And it's funny because like there's just plenty of people coming and going, and somehow being perceived is always a problem for me. But and sometimes more and sometimes less. It's so strange. Anyway, I try to stay focused. We're just trying to stay focused here. My past, my present, my future really matters in the context of all of this because, like, my past relationships have all been, well, most of them have all been, like, when I was in school, except, with the exception of, like, one or two. I say one or two because, like, one of them I don't really consider a relationship since it was not long-term, and a majority of my, like, childhood relationships were also not long-term, and, like, I guess people don't really consider, like, dating around, like, a relationship, but again, it's experience, and some people don't even have that, you know, some people don't even, like, go out with someone and experience life, but I say the present and future also because, like, what I'm building right now is something that's so important to me, and that's what I'm about to say in my next point, that, like, I'm having an 8-month relationship. My 8-month anniversary is coming up in 2 days on July 22nd. Mashallah, inshallah again. Thank you, Zach, for being my partner. We have been together for quite some time, so I do feel like it's comfortable and convenient and all right to talk about my relationship at this point. Wow, no, sorry, I like went over like what I was gonna talk about earlier today, but as I'm going through this, like, I am passionate. I have feelings about what I'm trying to talk about, and, like, you know, again, like, this is my present moment and also my past also, right? Because, like, I've been building this relationship for 8 months. That's 8 months in my past, and even before that relationship, like, every relationship before that was a relationship that was leading up to this one, right? And every single day that continues, I'm building the future with my partner, and I can definitely see us being together for years, which is something that I don't think I've ever said about any of my partners in the past. Like, every single partner I think that I've been with, like, in the first year, I've had, like, this terrifying feeling of, like, what the aftermath could be and what's coming. And I don't know if that's, like, that's probably my bad. I say that because, like, maybe it was my fault for staying as long as I did, but also, like, some situations I left early, and I don't regret leaving. I feel very grateful, you know, and, like, looking back, sometimes I can see, like, longer term relationships where I'm like, I kind of wish I left, like, 6 months in, and, like, you know, I'm 8 months into this relationship with my partner, and I don't feel that, like, I'm not like, oh, I wish I left 6 months in. No, I'm like, every single day that we're building together, I'm so excited, but, like, I still have BPD and I still have mental illness, so, like, that still affects me, you know. I'm working towards gaining remission, and remission looks different for every single person. Some people get remission when they are in therapy, some people don't. Some people get remission with both therapy and being alone, you know. Some people only get remission in community, and some people, again, have to have, like, a kaleidoscope of different things. Like, I imagined myself as just a visual learner when I was younger, and then I had realized, like, you know, it's also, like, auditory, and, like, not only do I have to be, like, listening to you and viewing you to learn, but I have to, like, sometimes be doodling while I'm listening and, like, viewing you doing the thing, and then afterwards I have to do the thing myself without you talking at all or without me seeing you at all, and then once I do that, it all, like, sets into place, you know. And I feel like that's similar to how remission will work for me, because, again, everyone is different. Some people just need visuals or are good with just visuals and, like, the auditory supplements, right? And some people are good with just audio and the visual supplements, and some people just need both, and some people, like, you know, they have, like, a secret third thing, you know. They just, like, have to, like, touch it and that's it, and then they learn. But anyway, I guess that's like my point is that in the future, like I feel like because of the foundation I built with these 8 months of my relationship, like the next 8 years are going to be more than solid. And like I wish I could have 80, you know, like that's what a good love is. Like you want 800 even, you know, you wish you were a turtle, and like you wish you could like live to see all of the humans and all of their loves. And my love, that's what we're talking about. So, I also want to talk about 17-year-old Pleiades, because 17-year-old Pleiades wrote about commitment, and that's why I kind of was shocked. I like gasped a minute ago because I can't believe that I put this as a topic for me to write about on top of my points of my love, because 17-year-old Pleiades did write about commitment, and I wrote about commitments in a way that has colored every single one of my relationships, which is necessary and important and beautiful. Like I don't think people thought about commitments the way that I did when I was 17, and maybe they did, you know. And I also think that I was thinking about commitments in that way before I was 17. Like there's a reason why some people date to marry, you know. And like I'm not saying that everyone has to date to marry, but also like it does seem to make things easier to like have like a picture of what the future looks like. But again, like not everyone has to do things my way. And like, you know, I'm also queer and I'm gay and I'm in the community talking about like how maybe marriage is in my cards. It's so weird how like some cards are so loud and some cards are like quiet. The silence of an electric car has been on my mind recently. I've been seeing ads about it and I'm like, wow, that sounds amazing. But it's also interesting because it's like then you go to like an AI data center and they're like screaming in neighborhoods. But I was saying that when I was 17 years old, I was talking about commitments, and I was like writing this little article in my phone, and I think I still have this information somewhere, but I don't know if I can find it because like my iCloud, my storage, you guys know how like difficult I've been having a storage issue. So like maybe iPhone, maybe iCloud, maybe Apple has deleted that information at this point from when I had written that little article when I was younger. But it was basically like comparing The Office, like the TV show, to commitment. And I don't remember like exactly what I was saying about Pam and Jim, but I said something about the relationship, about how like their relationship was like maybe it was like I did not want a relationship like that. Like that is the image of like what I don't want. But like at the end of the day, they did have like a relationship. But like I don't know, I do want to choose my partner, and I want to be solid and set on that commitment, you know. And like maybe that's just me, you know, maybe that's just like what I need in my life and like what my compatibility goes to. And isn't that like what we say at the end of the day anyway? What like that statement is, that cliche of like, if I love like this, then there's a love like this out there in the universe, right? Like I can't be the only one who loves like this. And Zach definitely makes me feel that. Like I do think he's like a quiet man, but I will say that like if it wasn't for his patience and his tenderness and his love and his sweetness and everything that's great about him, like because everything is great about him, if it wasn't about that, like then I would not be committed, you know. Like there's a reason that we both like cling to each other or are magnetic to each other. Like we're patient with each other, we're tender with each other, like we're able to communicate with each other in the way where it's like I need certain things that like maybe he doesn't realize or recognize, but it's like how would we realize or recognize it if we didn't communicate those things together, you know? So we over communicate, and that's another beautiful thing. Like the way that I'm able to talk about this relationship compared to other relationships, like that's different. And I also don't feel like obsessed about it where like I need to talk about my relationship 24/7. Like I think you guys can see there's a plentitude of things, a multitude of things that I need to talk about, a mayhem of things that I need to talk about, right? A harem of things that I need to talk about. And it's like 8 months of a relationship is just a blip in the grand scheme of the universe, in the billions of trillions of gajillions of years that we have, that we as humans can't even witness because we are not alive in that time. But anyways, sorry, my face is dry. It's Houston, it's humid, but I'm outside, it's hot, I'm on a patio, and no one's on the patio with me. No one knows how to live like me. I live amazing. I live great. You just wait till y'all see my travels. So yeah, that's my 17-year-old self, and that's how it like contributes to this bigger picture of like what is colored in every single moment. Like, even though those relationships when I was younger I might have been like itching to get out of, and I might have struggled to get out of for this, that, or the other reason, I still believe that like those things taught me something about commitment and time and my life, and brought me lessons that I needed anyway. So it's not like a waste of my time, and it's not like they were days that I regret, you know? It's not like that at all. But so more things that I love, and I love that this is the next point that I have, which is my faith, my beliefs, my choices, my journey, God. I love my spirituality. I love it because I am at a place where I have not been before. I feel more confident about my faith than I have at any other points in my life, and I do believe this is because I have eliminated the people that could have harmed me at a younger point in my life, and that were harming me at a younger point in my life. Unfortunately, I had considered some of these people my friends, and maybe even like chosen family, you know, and as time has gone on, like the people who are truly there for me, like, you know, maybe we had been irritating towards each other when we were younger, maybe we had been very immature and had chosen the wrong things to do around each other. Maybe we had just been way too close and we just needed some space, and like we needed to be ourselves sometimes. I still believe that like everything happened for a reason, and we're here today for good things, you know, and like that these are good people in my life, you know. Again, like even though these people are gone from my life, like I am empowered and I am more confident, and I think like that's the point of the journey. And like, you know, I don't think like even my partner is exactly how I am with my thoughts and my beliefs, but like he doesn't need to be, you know, like we are creating a realm together, and that's the point. I also like am doing my own research and studying and reading, and if it was not for all of the books that I divest my energy and like divulge in, you know, if I didn't jump into that realm, then I wouldn't have something to create off of, you know, then I would have like just someone else to cling on to and obsess to. And also the same for him, like he's not just using me as someone that like he can learn from, and in that way we uplift each other. Like it's hard, you know, because we don't have the same beliefs, but like we're literally talking right now about like prayer and like how to pray over food, because we have different beliefs in prayer, or maybe like we see prayer differently but we have the same beliefs. But like, you know, that's the thing, like the energy that you put into these things manifest things together. And like sometimes I can feel like, you know, some friendships and relationships are fast and like energy changes and transforms so quickly, but like at other times in my life, like it happens a lot slower. But again, I believe that everything is a part of the pie. Like you get to see everything and like what it means in hindsight, like the fruits of your labor, like what you have sowed, what you are planting, what seeds you put down. Oh, my nose is so dry. But anyway, God, that's like something that I put my faith in. And I don't think like people are ignorant if they don't believe in God. I also don't think people are ignorant if they believe in God. I think people believe what they believe, and they have faith in what they have faith in, you know. For me personally, I believe what I see, and at the same time that means I see God in everything, you know. I see God in this fake plastic plants and in this chair and table, and that's just my personal belief, you know. That's just where my faith lies, and that's my choice also, you know. That's my journey, that's my love. And your belief, like if you're an atheist, that's completely fine. If you're Jewish, that's completely fine. If you're Muslim, that's completely fine. You know, my family, they are Muslim, and I was raised Muslim. And you know, I think it's amazing that we have the storage compatibility, what am I trying to say, ability, I don't know if that's even a word, I don't know what I just said, but like, you know, the fact that I've been able to do 30 minutes and then some, like, that's awesome. So yeah, we're talking about romantic, platonic, familial, right? We're talking about a lot of different loves. That's awesome. That was the next thing that I was talking about. Because also, like, your platonic friendships, like, think about how many friendships you have with people of different walks of lives. And maybe not all of you can agree with that. Maybe not all of you have friends of all different walks of life. But, like, maybe you should, you know, like maybe you'd understand the world better. But maybe like also like a lot of people want friends that have similar beliefs, because they want people in their life that they can rely on when things are hard, and like, oh, that's 30 minutes on the clock, Ina. And that they can feel protected by, you know? And same with family, but like, I don't know, I think that we're allowed to create a genre, you know, we're allowed to do more in this universe, and like, you just have to be passionate and confident in that. Like, you don't have to follow the status quo, you just have to be yourself, and not everyone wants to be themselves, you know, like, even like I wonder, like, am I even myself? Like, you know, the existential crisis that I'm going through of like, who even is Pleiades? Who am I? Like, you know, I am this nebulous creature. I'm just going from one place to another, even if in my own city, you know, even in my own home. But queer love, wow, that's the next point that I'm talking about. Queer love is all expansive, but I'm not comparing. All love is love. You know, you can be straight, gay, trans, you can be bi, pan, whatever you want to be. I'm just saying that for me, being pangender, being non-binary, being transgender means amazing things to me. I am in Texas openly talking about these things because I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be a visual, you know? The more that we're seen, the easier it gets for people, you know, for the bigots. People can be scared of me for how I dress or for how I speak or for what I do, but I think that every day that we create something new is a radical day. You know, you guys hear me talking about making beads. Recently I've gotten into making worry stones, and I've been varnishing differently. I've been using polyurethane. I got a free bread. Sorry, that's amazing. This is my latte. Iced latte. I had really wanted a little sweet treat. I find it amazing that I got a free sweet treat. Like, the universe is good. The universe is great. The universe provides. Queer love is amazing. Queer love is free. Queer love is all expansive. I love love. That's the next thing that I want to talk about. It's amazing. I love seeing couples. I love seeing friends. Recently, I saw this couple on Instagram. If you guys know who I'm talking about, they just started posting. They're these two girls. They're friends. They're platonic. They're not gay. They wish they were because they keep saying, unfortunately, we are straight. I hope they find love and that they can continue to co-parent these children together because, again, they're just platonic friends and they adopted a child. And it is amazing to see what they're doing. And the fact that the San Antonio district even allowed this, I don't even understand, like, if any other cities allowed to do this, or like how San Antonio allowed this to happen, because like it's the first that they had heard of, and again, it's the first that I had heard of this, and I don't know if like maybe anyone else can write it down in the comments below, like, have you guys seen this before? Because we need to see this more. Like, people deserve good parents and people deserve better parents, and to have two friends that have been living together that are basically common law married, like, to be your parents and to have their like individual foster licenses and whatever transitions they go through, like, to have stable parents, like, that's amazing, you know. That's wonderful. Like, financially stable and independent people, amazing. That's queer love, in my opinion. Even if it's not queer, like, even if they're straight, that is still queer love, you know. Like, that is like a lavender love. That's like they're like creating something new, you know. That's what I'm talking about. And maybe you guys haven't seen that, or maybe you guys have your own opinions on that. And like, also, those two women are white, and I do have my feelings on like how life is easier for white people because the government unfortunately works over a racist 250-year system in America. But anyway, let's continue. I pray for a long life for all of us to experience a beautiful and everlasting, ever-changing, growing, meaningful, etc. love. We all deserve to find the one or ones who we want to be with. I personally am not polyamorous, but you're allowed to do whatever you want. And I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys so much for being a part of my experience, my project, my podcast. Again, you guys will be here probably after I leave. There will probably be people that go before I go, and same vice versa, right? Like, there will be people who outlive all of us that watch this project one day, and hopefully this project and YouTube will still be here, and people will still like engage in these creations long after we are gone. So that's my personal prayers, that's my personal intentions to the universe and manifestations. You know, I find that there is a middle point, cross section between prayer and manifestation and ritual and so many things. And you know, also my nose is so dry because I've got like so many piercings in there. There's literally 6 holes in my nose. and it's fine, you know, they heal so quickly, so I'm grateful. I just need to take care of my skin. I'm growing older, we're all growing older. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being a part of my project. Again, I record post here every single Monday. This is episode 59. That is Poetry on the Patio with Pleiades for y'all. Thank you, Nuestra Cafe, Nuestra Casa Bakery, for giving me a free piece of bread, and for the iced latte, for hosting the podcast tonight, for having us on this patio. I appreciate everyone for liking, subscribing, sharing with their friends and family, commenting down below what you guys think. And with that, much love, as you guys know. And as always, until next time, bye bye. Meow.